In a series of Excel tutorials. This is for beginners, people who have never opened Excel before. So when you open your first Excel spreadsheet, it's going to look like this. You're going to have your tabs along the top. This is probably familiar to you. And almost everything you need to reach is going to be right here. So here you have your formatting, bold, italics, underline, and you put the down arrow. Here are your borders for your cells. You can see there's lots of choices. If you need to highlight a cell, this is the color of your text. Here you can choose your font size. This is where the information in the cell is aligned. Here's how you format your numbers. You go general, dollars, percentage, add and subtract zeros. We will look at some of this conditional formatting later. And then here you can see some, if you need to insert things, probably not a lot of this is that needed. Charts, you'll do inserting charts, really easy to do. We'll do a little bit of this data later, but really almost everything you need is here on this home page. So we're gonna, in this lesson 1, we're gonna look at the Excel environment, which we just did. I'm gonna have us create just a simple spreadsheet. And we'll cover these topics: labels, how to adjust your columns, do a little bit of formatting, some simple math, and some summing. I guess the other thing I should say, this is sort of on the column adjust. You can see that one of the ways that you can help format, see if these were all even columns, it would look like this. This is not very useful, but by just highlighting your column, you can drag it over and you're able to create sort of a cascade of the labels, which can be helpful and you'll use. So let's just do a very simple spreadsheet. Let's take inpatient admission, inpatient revenue. We'll just, and see here, I want to adjust this, so I just going to make that a little bigger. Let's do month 1, month 2, month 3. I'm moving across those tabs for columns by just hitting the tab button. Let's do here, it's $100, $150, $200, right? Let's do our operating expenses. And again, I'm just hitting the tab. Say here it's $75, here it's $125, and here it's $225, right? And maybe that's all we want. So we need to put a line, right? Because we're going to do an equation. So all you have to do is go here to this border and hit it, and you'll see it puts in a line. If you want to do that for more than one cell, you can put it in the first cell, hit shift, arrow key, and it'll highlight the next cell, and then hit your arrow key again, continuing to hold shift, it'll highlight all 3, and then you could do it all at once. Okay, so now what we want to know is, actually, let's do one more thing. So I'm going to add a row. You see here, I want to add a row above operating expense and below inpatient revenue. So I'm going to highlight the row that is below where I want to add. I'm going to double click and insert, and a new row shows up. So now I'm going to put outpatient revenue. And we're going to do 20, 25, 20. Okay. I'm going to add another row, same thing. I'm going to highlight that row, double click, insert. And so now I want to know what my total revenue is. And again, because I'm going to do some calculating, I want to put a line here. So I held shift. I clicked on this first cell, held shift, arrow key, hit the underline. Now let's add these two. So there's a couple ways to do it. Whenever you want to do a function or any kind of calculation, you hit your equal sign. So we do equal, and then you can click on this first number, plus, the second number, and then hit enter. And there it is, 125. Another way to do it is to do equal sum. If you put the open prints, it'll bring up all the functions. I put S, and you can see here are my function choices. So sum, and it's going to tell you exactly what you want to do. First number, comma, second number, enter. Actually, it wanted me to end that parentheses. So you see how the parentheses in there. And so that adds it. Once you've calculated in one row, you can just copy and paste it, and it will automatically move that function over. So here we can do Control C and then Control V, copy paste. Or you can click on this and you see this little dark box, grab it, click on it, and just pull it over. All right, so now we have our revenue added, and we want to subtract our operating expense. So it's similar, right? We're going to go equals total revenue and then minus operating expense. Enter. Now, we've already calculated it once. We just wanted to calculate it across, so we're going to pull it. And here, this is a -5. So, let's take this total revenue line and change how it is justified. So we just go to the justification, and we did this right justification. And maybe I also want to bold it. So again, you just come here, bold. And there you go. And then let's do net income. Same thing. Let's put it to the right, and let's bold it. And our net income, oops. So I put that in the wrong line, right? That should have been here. And so to move that, all I need to do is click on the cell. I'm going to do Control X if you're on Windows, or Command X if you're on a Mac. And that makes this highlight go around, tells you I'm going to move it. I click in the cell that I want it, and I hit Command V or Control V for paste. And there we go. Now these numbers aren't very pretty, so I would probably want a couple of things to make this look a little bit better. I would highlight all of these numbers, and then I'm going to go to my little number, right? And what I want, if you push this little down arrow key, it'll show you all of your choices. I want accounting. Oh, but look, I hate this. I hate that I've got dollar signs on every single number, and I hate that I've got all these zeros. So what you can do is go to more number formats. I still want accounting, but I want my decimal places to be 0, and I want the symbol to be none. So that lines up all of my numbers very cleanly, and it puts my negative numbers into parentheses, so we know that they're negative. And this is a more appropriate way to show your numbers. And then the last thing I might do is take these months, highlight all of them. Maybe I want that to be centered. Perhaps we want it to be bold, and maybe a line underneath. Or maybe we want it to be, grayed out. So this is your simple spreadsheet, but really everything I just showed you is the foundation for everything you're going to need to do in this class. I'll do a couple more videos with a little bit more in depth, but this is the building block.